All right. Basically, science, it says it's testable. This is the textbook definition. And what I want people to go through, watch this thing again and see what's testable and what's not. Are we talking about a verifiable piece of information? Mark and I, we got the same information, but there's our conclusions, or is what we're discussing, and that's okay. And then we have to look at, was this high confidence or low confidence? And I think I think in school, we should teach high confidence science evidence, not low confidence belief systems. And and as you watch this, is this blind chance or is this creation?
The blue molecule racing along the DNA is reading the gene. It's unzipping the double helix and copying one of the two strands. The yellow chain snaking out of the top is a copy of the genetic message, and it's made of a close chemical cousin of DNA called RNA. The building blocks to make the RNA enter through an intake hole. They are matched to the DNA, letter by letter, to copy the A's, C's, T's, and G's of the gene. You are watching this process called transcription in real time. It's happening right now in almost every cell in your body.
So my question is that blind chance, or does that look for a creator? So I guess I'm excited right now because there's more evidence against evolution than ever before. And this information is more accessible than ever before. And this information is broken into bite-sized, understandable pieces like never before. And you can take a screenshots. These are some really good websites that I think you would enjoy. And then, and then just find out, what's the blind chance perspective? It's based on basically imagination and fiction. Where did matter come from? How did life begin? I don't know. And there's a bunch of errors in the textbooks. That's on another talk. And then the rescuing devices in the blind chance perspective is we see comets, but they can't last millions of years. So let's imagine an Oort cloud. We live in a perfectly tuned universe, which is kind of impossible if there's only one. So they imagine a multiverse of billions of universes, and we just happen to be in the right one. We got a magnetic field of 1,400 years. The half-life is 1,400 years. That can't go back millions of years. So they invent a dynamo. And then we got spiral galaxies out there that'll wind up in millions of years. They imagine dark matter. And then our universe is expanding at an accelerating rate, and they can't explain it. So they imagine dark energy. And we got the dinosaur soft tissue, and they're going to imagine that they imagine something someday. And then they got wrong predictions. They were wrong about vestigial organs. They were wrong about DNA. They were wrong about young galaxies. They were wrong about forcibly sterilizing people 100 years ago. And there's a lot of frauds in their history. Haeckel's drawings, Piltdown Man, Nebraska Man, Orsa Man. And that's one perspective that's being taught. And I suggest if you're going to teach one, teach another belief system. And this would be the creation perspective. And there's, things 6,000 years found in astronomy. Look at the Russell Humphreys. He accurately predicted the magnetic fields of Uranus and Neptune. He also accurately predicted the diffusion rate of helium, zircons. And also Ann Gibbons talks about a mitochondria Eve would be a mere 6,000 years old. And there's accurate predictions. I encourage people to check out the hydroplate theory. They predicted that there'd be material forged in extreme heat found in comets and asteroids, and they were right. They'd find salt water under major mountain ranges, and they were right. They predicted rounded rocks in asteroids and boulders, and they were right with Comet 67P. Some comets may have moons, and they were right. They were found salt on Mars, and they were right. Asteroids are rock piles, and they were right. And there's carbon-14 in old bones. And they'll say it's contamination. Well, yeah, there's a lot of imagination involved. And so that's basically all I want people to do is get all the information and think for yourself. I'll put this thing back up, take a screenshot, go in there, get some more information. Don't let this just be a one-night thing. Get some more information so you have a really good informed decision. And if we're going to teach one belief system in school, we should teach the other belief system. My position is just teach high confidence science. Don't teach belief systems about the past. A professor, praise his heart, praise God to him. He gave me 15 minutes in his classroom. I was done in 10. And he said, well, what would you do if you were a king of science? And I said, I would put all the theories on the table and point at what's making the accurate predictions and work on that one or ones. Okay. And then I said, I won't teach belief systems about the past. And a student said, well, do you believe in the Bible or science? And I said, the Bible and science go hand in glove, but the Bible and evolution bang heads because evolution's not science. It's not testable. And another student said, isn't it a shame that question's even asked? And I said, well, I understand why it's asked. You aren't being taught the origins of science. They were all Christians, and then I told them about Matthew Murray and Washington Carver. And basically it's a shame that we're excluding it. We're excluding the only answer that really makes sense for DNA. They won't let a designer in the door. And that's hurting science. Now we've got junk DNA, and they were wrong about that.
10 seconds left.
Okay. Yeah. And so I just encourage people, get all the information, be very skeptical about what I say, be very skeptical about what Mark says, and for really sure, be very skeptical of what the government says. That's what we really have to be skeptical about.